studio, whatever, but not very serious. He even doesn't have the ambition to get the black belt. It goes nowhere. In WonBuddhism, we have a goal. Before I die, I attain Buddhahood in this very world. And it all depends how sincere you are, how serious. But that doesn't mean you leave your home and go to mountain valleys and stay there and practice meditation all the time. And as we read, Grandmaster Sotasan says, if you practice your mind, cultivate your mind, discipline your mind, only in a quiet place, it will be like a mushroom which grows in the shade. As soon as it comes out to the sun, it will wilt. I didn't use the word wilt. Wilt is the better word than fading away. Wilt, you know. So, but it's hard. It's so hard, you know. In your working place, there are bad people. Sometimes they are obnoxious, you know, like arrogant. They're arrogant and so on. Sometimes you feel like throwing up because there are so bad ones out there, right? And how can you keep your mind calm and in a sense, you have to be aloof in such a situation, okay? And you should not be moved by, any adverse conditions. So it was the upasaka. Upasaka is a lay Buddhist. The Buddhist lay Buddhists called the upasakas, and there are 3 sage upasakas. One in India, one in China, one in Korea. And Dharma Kirti is the contemporary of the Buddha himself. He was a Buddha himself, but only he was a lay Buddhist. He said in a book called, Vimarakirti Nirdesa Sutra, there he says, in the translation, I used that for over 10 years in a textbook at FIU, and I thought I had it, but somehow when I have to put it as a footnote, I couldn't locate it again. I spent hours and couldn't locate it. Now, as you read, Vimalakirti, by the way, the Chinese upasaka who reached the Buddhahood was layman Pang. Pang is the one whose daughter I told you was better. The layman Pang said he was a very rich man, but learning on the truth of Buddhism, he put all those, his properties on a boat in the lake, and went to the middle of the lake and threw them into the lake and came out, and barely surviving by, menial work and so on. And his daughter is Ling Chao. Ling Chao and layman Pang's wife is also, and one son. All 4 of them reached the Buddhahood, and they did even what is called birth and death under absolute control of their own choice. To give one example, layman Pang, now he was over 70, and he said, well, I'm going to go and die. So told his daughter, Ling Chao, go out and say when it is the noon, okay? And his daughter came back, and it is the noon, but it had an eclipse. Eclipse? You better go out and see. So when he returned from outside, it was his daughter sitting on his chair and gone. Okay? Are you following me? She's dead. For such a enlightened one, so there's no birth and death. and his wife too. And so Layman Pang had to wait 1 more week, and the magistrate of the prefecture came because they were friends, and then said, my daughter is 1 step ahead of me, she's better than I. And he died a week after the death of his daughter. And in Korea we have a Pusal, is a Korean Upasaka, and there's a long, interesting story which I cannot bring because of time. Now, Vimalakirti, the Indian, we have a sutra, we read it. Those who follow the way correctly have their mind calm in noisy situations, no matter how noisy it is. I mean, how disturbing the external world is. His mind, Bodhisattva's mind, enlightened mind, is very calm, no disturbance. It doesn't matter how noisy out there. Now test this one into your workplace. The obnoxious ones, arrogant ones, stupid ones, and so on, they make you angry, and your mind is easily disturbed by them. See whether you have a white belt, purple belt, yellow belt, or black belt in that situation. Now it's clear, isn't it, what I'm trying to say? How is the spiritual power in such a situation? Some people are like a small boat on the high seas. They tumble over, right? Like what? You explode your anger and say a lot of things, and you are hated by them too. Eventually, you see you lost. Some other people are, middle-sized a ship. They are not easily tipped over by the wind and the waves. You know what I'm to say? But still it's moved. But you have like a huge, like a warship, or even what is called if you go to Miami harbor, what do you call that? Cruise lines, huge ones. Even though sometimes like Titanic, sunk. Our goal is to build our personality with all the attributes of our mind as huge as like a steamship, so that, okay, let the wind come, but you are not going to be moved by that one. In other words, in your workplace, remember there are all kinds of bad ones to you, but ask them where they are bad. They say you are bad. Isn't it correct? So our goal is to build up a mind which won't be moved by any adverse conditions, trying situations, and so on. And that is called Zen mind. Zen mind. If you meditate while you are here and meditating, you can keep the samadhi very well. But as soon as you go out to the world and your mind is upside down and moved and so on, that's no good. You are just like if you live in a deep mountain valleys, that's okay, because you are going to face those difficult and adverse conditions. But you have to face all those obnoxious ones, bad ones. You have to be able to keep your mind absolutely serene and immovable. That's a Zen mind. And that is emancipation also. Remember WonBuddhism 3 goals?